We talked about before, Trump in the Oval Office with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. And Trump gets asked about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist who worked for the Washington Post, got murdered and dismembered. And U.S. intelligence under the first Trump administration confirmed that MBS approved of this. And that's who he's sitting with, okay? And Trump starts justifying it. Well, now, in response to that, you have reports of secret tapes. And I'll show this to you. Between Trump and MBS that are disturbing. Before looking at that new information, here's the clip that sparked the leak about this.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's okay, just you ask, Mr. President, if you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden, he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose.
All right, MBS. Okay. All right. Isn't it interesting how Trump glazes MBS in the Oval Office, but then treats Zelensky like he treats Zelensky? It's an interesting contrast, no? Anyways, that's a disturbing clip. In response to that, you have this secret tape that could spin Trump into another cover-up scandal. Details of the phone call emerged after Trump defended the Saudi crown prince over the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. And let me just show you the clip that kind of brought this to people's attention. You have Representative Vindman on the House floor, who previously worked in the Trump administration, saying he heard a phone call in the first Trump administration between MBS and Trump that needs to be made public. While you watch this, please do click the subscribe button. Millions of people watch the show regularly who aren't subscribed. It makes a big difference just clicking that button.
Mr. Speaker, given the president's disturbing and counterfactual defense of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman today, I feel compelled to speak up on behalf of Mr. Khashoggi and his family and the American people. During my tenure on Trump's White House National Security Council staff, I reviewed many of Trump's calls with foreign leaders. Of all the calls I reviewed, 2 stood out as the most problematic. The first, we all know, it was between President Trump and President Zelensky, which resulted in President Trump's first impeachment. The second was between President Trump and Mohammed bin Salman. After the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, I reviewed a call between the president and the Saudi crown prince. The American people and the Khashoggi family deserve to know what was said on that call. If history is any guide, the receipts will be shocking. I call on the president to release that transcript. And honestly, does anyone believe that the Zelensky call was the only problematic conversation Donald Trump had with a foreign leader?
So, of course, he's referring to, and he had blown the whistle on the Zelensky phone call. Back during Trump's first term, he had this phone call, I'll remind you, with Zelensky, and said, yeah, we want to give you this. I think it was some form of aid. Well, we'll give it to you. It's been a long time. But gosh, you really should announce an investigation into Joe Biden's corruption in Ukraine. So he was trying to get Zelensky to hurt Joe Biden politically because he thought Biden would be his competitor, which obviously Biden ended up being that. Trump was impeached over this and trying to just facilitate a quid pro quo with Zelensky. And Zelensky just looks so hot in that photo. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted. The B-roll got me. But that's so unrelated. Guys, stop. I'm being silly. Get him off my screen. Okay, focus. So now he's saying what was even more disturbing than that, which Trump got impeached over, was a phone call that happened between MBS and Trump. I guess shortly after, or on the topic of, is he saying, the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. So release the tapes, release the transcripts. That's what we're asking for on another issue. And we'll talk about later. Trump technically signed a release of the Epstein files bill into law. We'll see. Do we trust? Because he has a lot of leeway. And it can't tarnish active investigations. And right before he signed that bill, he launched a bunch of active investigations into Epstein-related things. Not him. Democrats. Here's more from Vindman.
Adjusting happened on that call.
Well, look, as I mentioned last night on the floor of the House of Representatives, that there were two calls among many with foreign leaders that particularly disturbed me. And one we know was with President Zelensky of Ukraine, the extortion call, and that resulted in the president's first impeachment. This was the second one that really bothered me because this was about the murder of an American resident, a Virginia resident, and a Washington Post reporter. And the president, the conversation he had, obviously I can't get into the details, but it was counterfactual to what the president was claiming last night, what U.S. security and intelligence services have known and stated publicly was the involvement of MBS. And it's time that the president come clean. And
yeah, and I agree. Could you pull up that video of Trump grabbing MBS just to show you all how much he loves MBS? It's a little... Some people would say it confirms the Bubba rumors. I don't say that. But some people would say no man grabs another man like that. Unless they're a certain type of man. Go ahead and play that.
Mr. President,
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand.
I don't give a hell where that hand's been. Never heard that phrase before. I don't give a damn. I haven't heard I don't give a hell. Interesting. Hell's on his mind still. Now, Mike Pence was asked about this. Of course, Pence was in the first Trump administration where U.S. intelligence determined MBS's role. And Pence, I don't know what his deal is. He is ousted from MAGA. MAGA doesn't like him because he wouldn't, to his credit, unilaterally overthrow an election in Trump's favor. But he still acts like a coward sometimes, and I don't get it. You have nothing to lose. Don't do the... Well, just be brave. You were brave in that one moment. Now just be brave. Don't keep falling back into cowardice ways. But he gets asked about this and he's like, I would not have made that statement.
Jonathan Rugman from Channel 4. I wanted to ask a question about a former resident of Indiana, actually, the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was a student there. Yesterday, the president said that the Saudi Crown Prince knew nothing about the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. Do you believe that? And did you see evidence to the contrary when you were in the White House, given that the subsequent intelligence assessment, which was published, said otherwise?
I would not have said that. Beyond that, I would not. I think the president also praised his record on human rights. Look, there's...
Just to be clear, you would not have said that the Crown Prince knew nothing about it?
Well, I really can't speak to intelligence that I was exposed to.
Well, President Biden published the assessment.
But what I can tell you is that I would have not have made that statement.
Woo! Stop drinking so much energy drinks. Put your clothes back on. You're going crazy. You're off the rails, Mike. You wouldn't have made that statement? Really? Cool. Shoot. Damn. I don't care. I don't give a hell where Mike's been. He's based. What was that? And why do you breathe out of your nose so loudly? It's so weird. But what do you mean? Say a little bit more. And he goes, but I can't reveal information that I was privy to as vice president. Dude, Biden declassified the information. It's public already. That's how we know it. It was already revealed publicly. So now you can speak to it. I actually knew a lot of secrets, like that MBS facilitated the murder. Yeah, we all know that, Mike. We all know that. That's what we're asking you about, Mike. You don't have anything to lose. Why are you still a little bit scared, to be more blunt? It's very strange.